Much of human life involves making judgments and decisions under conditions of uncertainty. We estimate risks, make predictions, evaluate evidence, and choose among alternatives without knowing exactly what the future will bring. This uncertainty creates a fundamental challenge. If the future can't be known with certainty, then there can be no method that guarantees good outcomes in every situation. One of the most important ideas in judgment and decision making research is this distinction between a good process and a good outcome. A thoughtful and well reasoned decision can sometimes lead to an undesirable outcome, simply because chance and uncertainty remain. Likewise, a poor decision process can occasionally produce a favorable outcome. This distinction shifts our attention away from asking, did things work out? And toward asking, how did I arrive at this judgment or decision? Psychologists have identified several reasons why thinking under uncertainty can be challenging. First, information is often incomplete. We rarely know everything that might be relevant. Second, people frequently rely on intuitive processes and mental shortcuts that make judgment and decision making more efficient, but can sometimes lead to systematic errors. Third, emotions influence the way we perceive risks and evaluate alternatives. And finally, many decisions require us to predict the future, including future events, future outcomes, and even our own future preferences and emotions. None of these processes are inherently flawed. In fact, they're often remarkably adaptive. But they can create situations in which our judgments and decisions benefit from additional reflection. Research in judgment and decision making has identified many specific biases and errors. At first glance, these findings can seem like a long and disconnected list of psychological phenomena. However, many of these findings point toward a common lesson. People often make better judgments and decisions when they examine not only their conclusions, but also the assumptions and processes that produced those conclusions. One way to do this is by asking a small number of broad questions that direct attention toward important aspects of the situation that might otherwise be overlooked. For example, what information am I relying on? What information might I be overlooking? How are my feelings influencing this judgment or decision? How might my future self see this differently? Questions like these can't remove uncertainty or ensure success, but they can improve the quality of our judgment and decision making processes by helping us recognize important information, challenge our assumptions, and avoid some of the predictable errors that arise when we think under uncertainty. This, in turn, increases our chances of making sound judgments, reaching thoughtful decisions, and ultimately achieving better outcomes.